If they would have done their job, made that one phone call to El Salvador, my daughter would still be alive today. Kayla was a very
はい、こん
beautiful
ばんは。
young lady
OL です。
inside and out. She was independent, learning to become independent. She had 2
今、
jobs. She
私も寝
overcame
ようとしてベッ
obstacles dealing,
ド
you know,
に
with
横た
autism
わ
and
っ
was
て、いつも
able to
ね、
find a
この
job
時
that she
間、
loved.
ベニー・ジョンソンの
She
ライ
loved
ブを
animals, especially her cat
聞いてるんですよ。
Oreo,
で、聞
and
こう
she
と
cared
した
about the
ら、
homeless. She loved God and she
あ
loved going to church. And her life
トラ
was
ンプ
just
のね、
ripped from
イ
her
マー
3
ジェンシー
days
プレス
after she
カンファレン
celebrated
ス、
her
ここで出て
20th
るでしょ。
birthday.
イマージェンシープレスカンファレンスということで何事
Thank
か
you
と、
for having
マ
me here
ー
today.
ラーゴからね、フロリダのトランプの今住んでるところですよね。ライブやってるんで、ちょっと私も緊急にライブ放送をやってます。ちょっとお待ちくださいね。まあ、なんかボーダーの話みたいです。私もたった今から、今さっきから聞き始めたばっかりです。2時間前から始まった。ベニーのが2時間前から始まったんでしょうか。27万人がね、今聞いてますから、結構大きな会見だと思うんですよね。
I ended his pipeline in Europe, no problem. And what happened? Biden comes in, he proves it right away, but he kills the Keystone pipeline. Putin never would have come in. And he didn't, by the way, for 4 years. There was never a threat that he was going to do that. But he saw weakness, and I think a lot of it was seen in that horrible period of time. She is also aiding and abetting the cartels, allowing vast quantities of deadly drugs to pour unchecked into our country. And remember this, they now have an app.
ちょっと
You
待って
call
くだ
the
さい
app and you
ね。
bring
私がどういうふうにこれラ
whatever
イ
you
ブ放
want,
送
you
でき
bring
てる
them
のかどう
over, they'll
か
tell you exactly. Can you
よ
believe
く
it?
わ
They
から
have
な
an
いん
app.
で、
And they have airplanes,
今
big
パソコン
beautiful
から、
Boeing airplanes flying back and forth over our
はいはいは
border.
い、出てますね。
They were saying, where are those planes
ワ
coming
ツエバ
from?
ワ
Where
シ
are
さ
they
ん、こんばん
going?
は。
They
よ
were
ろしくお
loaded
願い
up
しま
with
す。
migrants.
今
They're
ね、
dropping them out in
ト
the
ランプの
Midwest. They're dropping them all over the
緊
place.
急会見、
And I will tell you, if you look at
ちょっと待って
Aurora
音消し
in
ます。
Colorado or in Springfield in Ohio they dropped 32,000 illegal aliens. They tried to give them legal terminology, but it's not. Illegal aliens, 32,000 into a 50,000 person town, beautiful town, no problems. And now they don't know what to do. And they want to be nice, and the mayor wants to be nice. His big thing is to get interpreters because they don't speak English. It's very hard to get interpreters. And he's trying to get interpreters. But in the meantime, they're taking up the hospital. So when people from Springfield would routinely be able to check with a doctor, go to a hospital, they're unable to get in. They're packed. The whole town has changed. And this is happening all over our country. Aurora probably is an even worse situation because you have the meanest, worst gang from Venezuela in the world, probably maybe as bad or worse than MS-13. And they've literally taken over the town. They've taken over large sections of the town. They've gone into the real estate business. They've taken over apartment complex. They took over a number of complexes where the people are paying them rent. They've become the landlord. Isn't that nice? And they're rough, tough people, and they have the latest weapons. They have military quality weapons, and everyone's saying, where did they get them? Got to get them out of here. We're going to get them out fast. We're going to get them out fast. So today, I'm announcing that for the first time under my administration, we will be seizing the assets of the criminal gangs and drug cartels. And we will use those assets to create a compensation fund to provide restitution for the victims of migrant crime, and the government will help in the restoration. The government will help in the restitution, but something has to be done, and we're gonna get it done. Kamala has also caused untold misery through her destruction of our economy. Our economy is not. This is just like a fake economy. Some of the best
サムネイル
some
を
of the best people on Wall
変え
Street
ま
are
した。
saying the economy is only good because they think I don't want to say
ちょっ
this
と待ってくだ
because
さいね。
other people have said it. That's not me saying
こ
it.
れま
But they
た、
think Trump is going to get elected. That's the only reason our
うー
economy is
ん
good. That's the only reason the stock market is up.
収益化できてないんですよね、私の。
Scott is here, I
ちょっ
think,
と待ってくだ
someplace,
さ
and
い。
he's one of the most respected people on Wall Street. He's actually made a very big point of it, that the
収
stock
益
market is
化
only
どう
doing
する
well
どうする
because of the fact that they think
コン
Trump is going
テ
to win the
ンツ
election. So we'll see.
ライ
But
ブ
Kamala cast the deciding votes that caused the worst inflation
ライ
in
ブの
our lifetime. Maybe the
で
worst
すかね。
inflation we've ever had because I don't think they're, I mean, I know for a fact they're not adding all of the numbers. If they did, I think it's the worst inflation probably in the lifetime of the country. And it's costing typical
この
American
動画では以
families
下の
over
広告を待ってます。
$30,000. Nearly half of
収益
Americans
受け
now
取
say
り。
they're broke. Think of that. Half of Americans are saying they're broke. They have no money. 2/3 say they're living from paycheck to paycheck, and that's a record. We've never had that to that extent. We've never ever had that. Millions of Americans are lying awake at night, worried about how
ダメ
they'll
ですね。
pay their bills because Kamala
ね、
wrecked their family finances, and
ちょっ
she's
と
done
今、
that.
セッティング、
She's
ラ
done
イブ
nothing
の、
good. They have done nothing good.
収
And I
益化
speak
で
of
き、で
Kamala,
き
but
ないん
it's
ですよ、このライブ放送。
partially
です
Joe,
の
but
で、
Joe's out of it. You
皆
know,
さんね、
Joe's sort of out of it. She's
よ
been
ろ
out
し
of
か
it
っ
for
た
a
ら、
long time.
スパチャく
Now
ださ
she
い。
wants
ス
to
ーパー
raise
チャット。
taxes for the typical family by
ちょっと待ってください。
$3,000 a year.
と言ってもね、
She's
私の
got
放
no
送が中
empathy
身がない
for
ので、
the hardworking
スパチャい
Americans
ただ
whose
く。
dreams she's killed and said
ちょっと待ってください。セッ
recently
ティ
that
ングが。
there is not one thing that she would do differently from Biden. That's only because she
はい
choked.
はい
I'm
はい。
sure
今
she could have
31、
come
お、
up with
た
a
くさん。
couple of things if she
こんば
really
ん
thought
は。
about it. Because
今
there's
コメン
been
ト。
so much destruction caused by the
ダロ
Biden
さん、こ
administration.
んばんは。よろしくお願いし
One
ま
of the
す。
things that people don't
さや
talk
かさん、こ
about
んば
in
ん
the
は。英語全部
news
わかん
never
ない
talks
私、
about.
少しだけ
They don't
わ
talk
割れ
about
ば
as
オ
an
アシスさ
example
ん。
Afghanistan, but this is something that's incredible because when you
皆
think
さん
of the
こんばん
numbers,
は。ぜひね、チャットで盛り上がりましょう。
325,000 children
じゃあ私が同
are
時通訳しましょ
missing,
うか。同時通訳。
dead sex slaves or slaves. 325,000 children who came in through the open border are
30万人以
now
上の子供
missing.
がミッ
Many
シン
of
グで
them
す
are。dead.
この前
And
私
nobody
ね、
talks about
ライ
it.
ブやってたら、
I said,
かぶせるなと言う
this
んですよ、
must be a
私が。
mistake.
英語
This
で
can't be
こ
possible. When I read
う、
it
同じ
first,
言葉を
when
か
I
ぶせ
read
る
it,
な
I
と。
said, this can't be. You're talking about
大
take
きなお
your
世話でし
largest
ょ。と
stadium and fill it up
言
many
い
times. That's
言
what
いたいんで
the
すけ
kind
ど
of
ね。
numbers are.
え
Here today is
私の放
Michael
送ですから、
Copy, a small
私
business
の好き
owner
な
who
ように
runs a dry cleaner and
盛り
is
上げていこうと
struggling
思う
to
んで
get
すよ。
by because of what Kamala has done to his
ちょっ
business.
と待ってくださいね。
They've destroyed small businesses in this country.
わかり
Michael,
ました。
please.
誰マイクって言っても誰ですか、この人。
The opportunity and the high honor of joining you here today and sharing my small business story with you folks and the American people.
スモールビジネス。
So it's
彼、
a
スモー
chain
ル
of
ビジネスのオ
eco-friendly
ーナ
dry
ーと思いま
cleaners
す。
throughout the Tri-County here in West Palm. And it seems not too long ago, just a few years,
ちなみにね、ちょっ
the
と私今
customer
もう
and
隣の
us,
部屋
the
で
small business
嫁と子
owner,
供が寝てるんで、
we were able to
大
keep
き
up
な
with
声で
inflation. There were
放送
resources
できないん
available
ですよ。
to us for expansion.
すみません。か
Or
ぶ
if
せ
you
ま
had a
す。
bad month, you know, if there was something you needed to make up for it, it seemed like the support was there. And now, just a few short years later, it seems like all of those resources have dried up. The support's no longer there. We had an expansion plan about 6 years ago that we had to pause because we have to wait for our customers now to catch up with the inflation, the supply chain issues still, because we as a small business, we can't double our price points, although the cost of doing business now is 2, 3, or 4 times what it was just a few years ago. So we've had to get creative. Our industry probably
私もスモールビジネスオーナーなん
the
ですよ、
dry
ちな
cleaning
みに。
industry never survived COVID.
いや、
And
ほんまね、
just
コ
recently
ロ
this
ナ以降、
summer,
ボ
I
ロ
was
ボロですよ、
contacted
私
my
の本
wife
業
and
も。
I by another local dry cleaner here in West Palm. They were asking advice. So husband and wife been there for about 35 years. Their lease was up, and the landlord was doubling their rent, which would have meant that that's what they've been paying themselves for probably the better part of 20 years. So they had to make a decision. Do they hand the keys back or do we get creative,
はいはい、
work
カオスで
together,
きますね。
pool resources? And so what we did was we figured out the right price point for them, but we did their cleaning for them, at least until we figured it out. And so they were not able to pay their operations. They couldn't keep that going, but they were able to save their business by strategically partnering. And by the end of summer, I think I was contacted by about 12 other local dry cleaners saying, can you guys help us also because we're going through the same thing. Thank you.
ドライクリーニングのビジネスやってる
And it seems now, so the
オペレーションの
the
コストもか
delta
かるし、ね。
between the reality of what inflation is right now and we have in front of us, the reality of that and the small business owners' capabilities, that delta is too great. So unless we effect change immediately, I fear that in the next few years, if we don't see that change, we might see another 30% of our industry and others no longer exist. So I just want to say thank you again, Mr. President, for allowing me to share my Go Green Dry Cleaner story. And thank you.
インフレはすべてのビジネス、ビッグビジネスからスモールビジネスまで、ビジネスだけじゃなくて消費者にもとっても、特に年金生活者にとってもね、最悪でしょ。バイデン・ハリス政権っていうやつらは、経済のことを全く音痴なんですよ。知らないんですよ。経済の観点で生きてきてないんですよね。だからなんか、権利だとか、政治的なことばっかりで、バイデンずっと職業政治家でしょ。経済の観点全くないんですよね。だから、イデオロギー、だから戦争やっちゃうんですよ、イデオロギー。戦争はインフレですから、これはもう何百年の等の用罪を問わず、今ハリケーンの話してます。ちょっと私のインフレの話、言わせてください。だから、戦争がインフレでしょ。インフレが経済をボロボロにするっていうの、これ、もう私、ちなみに経済学部出身なんですよ。慶応大学、経済学部、経済学科、金融勉強したんですよ。金融論。で、まあ、そのことどうでもいいかもしれませんが、経済学のテキストブックの一番最初に書いていることぐらいの話じゃないですか。戦争はインフレになると。ね、いいこと全くないんですよ。だから、財務長官もそうですけどね、ジェロム・パウエルも中央銀行の総裁もね。
The mother-in-law of fallen Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole G. Nicole made the ultimate sacrifice during the disastrous withdrawal. Not that we were withdrawing. I was going to withdraw.
アフガンの犠牲者、軍の関係者だと思いますよ、紹介する人。ちょっと話手短に先出します。だから、戦争やって経済ボロボロにするんですよね。その処方箋を全く持ってないんですよ、バイデンとハリスはね。サンクションねとかやる、直接自分のアメリカの軍隊をブーツオンデグラウンド、地上軍を送らなければいいと思ってるんですよ。自分たちの戦争じゃないと。で、経済制裁でロシアがギブアップするとかね。もう、バカ、イデオロギーしかやってないバカ、経済のこととか、世界経済のことがわからないバカのやることなんですよね。で、アメリカだけじゃなくて、世界中の経済混乱にしました。日本もそうです。日本も付き合わされてますからね。そもそもサンクションした世界経済はつながってますから。ちょっと私の話はいいでしょう。一言、バイデン・ハリス政権は経済のことも全く分かってない、どうしろとボケたちなんですよ。LGBTQ だけやってる。トランプは真逆ですよね、経済の人ですから。ちょっと本題に今の話題に戻りましょうか。When Biden made a decision, she said she was there. Oh, she was there.
But the Afghanistan decision was a disaster in so many different ways. And
ア
now
フ
you
ガニ
take
ス
a
タン
look
撤
at
退、
it, they're
トラ
right
ンプ
back
徹
to
底
what
的に
they
攻
were
めてま
doing
すよね。
before, except much worse to women. They're worse to women right now than they were
トラ
even
ンプ
before
の
it started.
トランプ政権自体の時
Kamala
に
never
準備して
reached
たん
out
ですよ
to
ね。
the
バイデン・ハリ
family
スはトラン
members
プ
of the
の準備が悪
warriors,
かったからこんなになったって、
and she said
す
she
べ
was
てトラン
going
プの責
to,
任
but
に
she
してる。
never did. She never
で
called
すよね。
anybody. And Christy, I'd like you to come up and say a few words, please.
トランプこのタイミングでね、こういうカンファレンスやるの、緊急でやるのいいですよね。
Good afternoon.
最後、あと1週間です。
My name is Christy Shamblin, and my daughter-in-law was Sergeant Nicole Leanne G. And she was killed in the botched Afghanistan exit at
娘さんが
Abbey Gate.
アビ
She
ゲー
was the
ト
cornerstone
で殺され
of a
た
very large family.
みたいです。そのアフガンで
And
ね。
instead of planning family gatherings and
こ
holiday
の
meals,
人の娘さんがまだ若いで
Christmases,
すよね。この
and
人も
baby showers, our family and thousands of other families plan outings at funeral grave sites. And
ちょっ
that
と
is where
私事ですけど
we
ね。
as a family celebrate my daughter-in-law
実
at
は
Arlington
私の
National Cemetery
最愛なる
because she is
母
in
が
the ground.
10月4
Her
日
story
に亡くなっ
isn't
たんで
unique
すよ。
to our
緊急
family.
に
She's just ours.
心筋梗
There
塞
are
で倒れたんですね。
thousands and thousands and thousands of
まだ
wounded
もがけてないんで
veterans
すけど、
who came home from that war, who need our help and who are
まだ20
ignored
日しょっ
by
た
our
から、ちょっ
current
と家族
administration.
の悲しみってわかるんで
President
すよ。
Trump demonstrates peace through
まあ
strength.
私の場合75歳の母
I
で
know
す
what
け
he
ど、
told the Taliban when he was
娘が亡
negotiating
く
with
なる
them
なん
because I've
て
made it
ね、
my business to know.
もう私
And
は
what
受
he
け入れられ
said
な
to
いと思い
them
ますよ、そ
when
ん
he
な
was
ち。
negotiating with the
悲しみ
Taliban,
は。
he said, I will kill you if you harm one hair on one head of an American.
いや、私もね、同じ立場だったら同じように思うと思います。バイデン、ハリス殺しますよ。本当に。自分の娘が。
President Trump shows up, he reaches out, and he can fix our country, and we can all heal together.
全く無視してるでしょ、バイデン政権はこのアフガンの犠牲者に対して、ハリスも。
Thank you very much. It's so sad. So many
what-
cases, so many cases.
whatever オアシスさ
Nobody
ん、
should have died.
バイデンと経
First
済
of
と
all,
イ
when
ンフレ
they
の、い
left, the soldiers should have been there. They shouldn't have been home
や、
watching,
本当です。
except for a small group, and many of them got killed, and large numbers. Nobody ever mentions the arms, the legs missing, gone, the face just obliterated. Nobody talks about them. I talk about them all the time. But I want to thank you, Christy, and we'll carry Nicole's memory in our hearts forever. The full consequences of Kamala's 4-year reign are almost too terrible to discuss or contemplate. We're coming to the end of a great campaign. I think we've had a great campaign. We've really not been provided the kind of protection that I needed as president, but I said we have to do it anyway. When Secret Service would ask for additional people, oftentimes we would be turned down. They were constantly asking for additional
暗
people.
殺未遂ね。
And I found Secret Service to be very brave. When I was hit and went down, they were right on top of me within seconds. I tell you what, those bullets were flying right over my head. I heard them. And these guys were right. I don't know how they didn't get hit, actually, but they were right there. You take a look at the video. One thing we would say, the video is there for people to see, but they were never given the kind of help that they requested because our rallies were massively large and they needed more people, and they were always fighting for more people, and it was never given to them. Now
神経
they're
細胞
being
それは
given,
十分な人員、
I hope, what they need.
トランプ
but,
陣営要求したけど、与えてもらえなかったんです
that
よ
was a
ね。
constant fight. They'd come to me and they'd say, you guys don't want to give us the people. And yet Biden was covered and they'd have like 2 people show up. But Kamala is grossly incompetent, a total train wreck who has destroyed everything in her
whatever
path.
Oasis
She's
さん。
destroyed everything.
そうなんです。借金多いんですよね。
21 million aliens pour across our country, and then she
にも
maybe
か
in
かわらずコロナの後
a short
の
while has to go home, and
Oh.
she'll
ばらまきひどかったでしょ。まあコロナはしょうがないとしても、その後も全部ばらまきやってますから。
And you haven't seen anything yet because they've just
で
started. They're
戦
just
争っ
getting
て
comfortable in our country.
そういう
These
こ
are
とで
very
すから、
tough
国債
people.
発行するわけでしょ。
These criminals make our criminals look like nice people. And she let the more than 13,000 convicted illegal aliens, nobody would have let these people into our country. And remember, they came out of the worst prisons in the world, the meanest, nastiest prisons
こ
in
れ、
the world.
トランプいつも言ってるでしょ。
And
メン
when
タル
she
インス
says
ティ
that
テュ
she
ーショ
wouldn't
ン
do
と
anything
かやつ
different,
と
does
か、
that mean that she would have let
刑務所から来ている
325,000
と。その不法移
migrant
民ね。
children
だけど、
probably
もう
die,
ずっと
most
前から
of
そう言っ
them,
てます
many
けど、
of
彼。
them.
この前出
But
た
at a minimum, they're
統計で
slaves or they're sex
証明されま
slaves.
したよね。1万5千人
And they're all
の
over the
マーダー、
country.
殺人者とか。
Does that mean that you
1
wouldn't
万
have
何
changed that?
1万3千人でしたっけで ?1 万
Does
5
that
千人の
mean
レイ
that
ピ
you
スト
wouldn't
と
have
か。
changed so many of the other things that
それ
led
把
to
握してる
so
だけ
much
でですか
death
らね。
and destruction
アイスが把握し
and
てるだ
even
けでですか
financial
ら。
destruction of our country itself?
だ
We
か
could
らあ
end
なが
up
ち
in
ト
a
ランプが言ってるこ
depression
と全
because
然
of what
嘘じゃ
she's left with
なかっ
us.
たんですよね。いつも民主党は
They are the
根拠がないと
worst
か嘘とかって言うんですけど、
combination president,
そもそも
vice
2016年の時
president
のウ
in the
ォ
history
ー
of
ル
our
も
country. And I often say Jimmy Carter's a happy man because
みんなバカにしてま
his
したけど、
administration, by comparison, was totally brilliant. It was brilliant.
8年経って
After
ウォー
Kamala
ルが正しかったっていうことが分かったんですよ。
endorsed defunding the
私も
police,
ね、トランプが最初いつも言うときに、
she bailed
ちょ
out
っと
rioters,
それは
looters,
言い
and
過ぎじゃないかと
murderers,
かね、
took them right out of jail
違うんじゃないかといつ
during the
も
violent
思
crimes
って
in
た
the
んですよ。
United
まあ、
States.
ビッグマウスだなと。
Remember,
だけど、
I
後
was
で
in
もうすべて
Minnesota,
正しかったで
Minneapolis
す。
was burning down. It was burning to the ground.
バ
I
イデン
watched
史
the
上最低
CNN
の大
announcer
統
say,
領
"This is a
になる
friendly
って
group of
言って
people."
たでしょ。
Over her shoulder, the
本当そうで
entire
したよ。
skyline was burning. I've never seen it, but that's the fake news. But violent crime in the United States is up 37%.
ポスさん、
All of
コ
these
メ
different
ントありが
crimes
とうござ
are
いま
up
す。ポスさ
anywhere
ん。
from 37 to
大統領決まったら日
105%.
米安全保障条約の解除に
over
応
a
じてほ
very
しい
short
け
period
ど、
of
これね、
time.
私
It's
の持論
almost
な
like
んです
nobody
よ。
even cares about it.
珍しい
Very
ですね、
simply,
ポスさん。
Kamala Harris is
私
not
とこの、
fit to be your
あ、
president.
ジョンさんこんばんは。
We
あり
can't
がとう
have
ご
it
ざいます。い
happen.
つも。
We can't have it happen. We're going to make this country strong
ポ
again.
スさん、
We're
まず
going
こ
to
の
make
話
it
はい
great
つかし
again.
ま
We're
しょ
going
う。
to be
私もね、
respected again.
日米安保反対論者なんですよ。一回外せばいいんです。一回やめれば。一回やめて、トランプ、トランプ、トランプ。一回やめて、考え直せばいいんですよね、日米ともに。
Her message has
トラン
been
プやると
a
思いますよ。
message of
やるか
hate
どうかは別として。
and
ここまでやり
division.
きるか。
And my
あ
message is
日本自分
about
で金出せ
saving
って言
our
って、そっくり
economy,
した
securing our
かけ
border,
てるわけじゃないですか。
bringing together the
ヨーロッ
greatest
パに
and
対しても。
broadest coalition
自
in
分のことは
American
自分で
history.
守れ
There's
と。
never
だ
been
か
a
らそれは言っ
coalition
てくる
like
と思いますよ。
this.
で日本が
Everybody
出さないって
simply.
言うんだったら、じゃあやめたっていう可能性は、まあ、トランプ
And
は
on
ね、
issue after
ブラ
issue,
フ、
she broke
デ
it.
ィール、ネ
They
ゴシエ
broke
ーショ
it
ンですから、
together.
確かにはや
But
め
for
ると思いますけど、
purposes
そう
of
いう
this
プレッシャーをかけ
election,
てくる
she
と思い
broke
ます
it.
よ。
Can't let her go.
言うこと聞かない、
And I'm
要する
going
に
to fix
金
it. I'm going to fix
払わ
it
ないんだ
very
ったら日本
fast.
がね、やめるぞみたいな。いや、日本としたらやめてくれて結構っていけばいいんですよ。
And on
私
the
は。
illegal,
一回
thank you very much.
ご破産にし
Thank
て、
you
そ
very
れからもう一回やってもいいわけでしょ。と、
much.
私は
On
個人
the
的にはね、
illegal
日米安全保
immigrants that will
障
be
が
taken
本
out
当
of the
に
country, as you
東
know,
アジア、日本の安全保
we're going
障
to be
に
taking
プ
them
ラスになっ
out.
て
And
かどう
if
かっ
they
て、これ
come
はまあ
back,
今度やりましょう。いつか。
we have
私
laws
の
that
持
will
論なん
be
ですよ。
immediately enacted where
ちょ
they
っと何
serve
の
10
話し
years
たんです
in
か、今。
prison. They won't come back. And if that's not long enough, we'll have to do something else. But we don't want them back. They're not going to come back.
あれね、不法移民、特に犯罪者は、に対
And
し
as
て
you
ね、
know, we're asking for the death penalty for
デスペナル、ア
any
メリカで犯
migrant who
罪
comes into our country and
起こ
kills
し、
an American
殺人を起こした
citizen
らデ
or
スペナ
a
ルティってなってるでし
police
ょ。
or law enforcement person.
これ、つい最近言い出したんですよ。具体的な。
Because we have to protect our police. Our police are under siege also at numbers that nobody thought were possible.
これ
The worst
ね、
they've ever seen. It's very hard
口
to
のブラフ
recruit.
だけで、もうね、本当トランプ
And
勝つ
really
ことが
for
ほぼ決まってますか
not
ら、
just the danger, it's hard to recruit
マ
because
ス
they
デ
don't
ィ
have
ポ
the
テーションっ
spirit
て
anymore
言っ
for
て
our
るでしょ。
country because they're being
民主党は
led
どうやってやるんだろうって、
with
みん
people
な、
that are
不法移
spiritless.
民み
They
んな
really are
国外退
spiritless.
屈どうや
They
ってさ
can't
せる、
instill
現実的にね、
spirit.
2000万人
But
どうやってさせるんだっていう
so
話。
that's any
バンスは
citizen they get
犯
killed.
罪者からや やっていくと。
it's the death penalty,
犯
and that
罪者からね。
includes police or
だからも
law
う今、
enforcement
もう
officers.
具体的にこういう政策言ってるんですよね。アメリカ国内で殺人を起こしたら法移民が
But we're
デス
going
ペナル
to
ティだとか。
revive our economy. We're
だ
going
から
to
動
use
きが早い
a
ですよ。
system
も
of very fair,
う、もう見据えて
very
ます。今、
reasonable
あと1
tariffs.
週間のタイ
As
ミ
I
ングで、
said, so
具体的な
powerful.
話出
We've
してき
never
ているという
used
ことは、
them. I used
政
them.
策を前に
China
進
paid
め
us
るね、
hundreds of
地なら
billions
しをや
of
ってるんで
dollars,
すよね。
hundreds of billions of dollars, and no other president's gotten 10 cents from China. China had a free ride, but so did many other countries. European Union is taking advantage of us. They don't take our product, and yet we take their product all over the place. We take their farming product.
アメリカファースト、これトランプの持論ですからね、今回の選挙。前からですけど。
Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen,
ヨーロッパとの経済。あれね、タリフとか経済、これ中国がメインのターゲットですけど、当然ヨーロッパに対してもね、経済的な交渉をしますよ。アップルがいますからね。アップルトランプに、クックはトランプに助けを求めてますから、ヨーロッパが EU からビリオンダラーのペナルティ課されたでしょ。だからヨーロッパとも経済戦争になると思いますよ、中国だけじゃなくて。我々はシスさん、ビッグマウストランプと思って、ビッグマウストランプと思って、そう、私も思ってたんですよ、ずっと。だけど、正しいことが全部証明されてるでしょ。私ね、本当すごいなと思ってるんですよ。今でもビッグマウスなとこありますけど、ちょっと見直してるんですよ。前は冗談とかジョークとかね、話のためかなと思ってたんですけど、意外に現実が全部見えてるのはすごいなと思いますよ。利下げはね、利下げは多分経済の状況によって、利上げ、利下げはいろいろ変わると思いますけど、とりあえずトランプは今のジェロン・パウエル大統領も絶対、やめさせます。これは、彼の時からね、言いましたけど、前の時から、もうよく思ってますね。ただ、その政治的なね、政治任命がいいかどうかっていう中央銀行総裁を政治的に決めるのは良くないっていうのは一般的に言われてるでしょ。恣意的な、政府の恣意的な。政府は財政、財務省を財務省のトップは政府は決めてもいいですけど、中央銀行のトップは政府はあんまりしない方がいいという考えがありますよね。だけど多分変えると思います。パウエルをね。で、上げるか下がるかは当然、インフレが収まれば、金利は下げるでしょ。だからナチュラルに下がっていくと思います。で、景気が悪化すどっちが先になるか分からないですけど、景気が悪化して、利下げに行くか、景気が悪化すれば、インフレも収まりつつ、収まる方向、今もそんなに一時ほどガンガンいってないでしょ。景気が悪いから。でもね、インフレがどんどん収まってるって見えても、あれ、年ベースですから、去年、その前、4年前から比べたらものすごい上がってるわけでしょ、20%、30%。マイナスにならずに、去年、例えば12%上がって、今年4%ですと下がりましたっても、その前の年から、2年前からとものすごいインフレですから、やっぱりね、不況になると思うんですよ。ただ、インフレも一応落ち着き、そうそう、利下げは当然、経済制裁してきますよね。だから単純に利下げするかどうかっていうのは、もう状況によると思います。景気がどうなるか、インフレがどうなるか、ね。でも基本的に、トランプは利下げ方向ですよ。だってインフレを利下げしてインフレになるっていうのは、抑えたいです。そのシナリオだけは。で、今そういう局面じゃないですよね。マネーをどんどん供給していって、それがインフレにつながるっていう。ちょっと、利下げを先にするかのタイミングっていうのは、経済の状況次第です。中央銀行総裁は変えると思います。タイミングでね。変えるのを念頭にやると思います。
And I didn't even tell them to be here. They want to be here because they know exactly. Oh, yes, very good. We have one of.
その利下げの話最後言うと、利下げをする決定権は中央銀行にありますからね。トランプにはないですから。プレッシャーはかけるとは思いますけどね。上げろ下げろの政治的な圧力はかけるでしょうけど。
Soldiers who are waiting 6 months to see a doctor. Can you imagine yourself? You don't feel good. You could be cured with a pill or with a shot or with something very minor, like a minor operation. And after 6 months, you're now terminally ill. So I made it, and they've been trying to do this for 48 years. I made it, we call it choice, like school choice, which is also a very good thing, by the way. But we call it
いろんな
choice,
問題
where
が
you have your
山積
choice.
してるん
You
です
go
よ
to a
ね。
doctor. If you have to wait more than one day, you go outside, you get a doctor, you get yourself fixed up, and we pay the bill.
保険の問題もそう
And
です
it's
ね。
been
女性の
unbelievable.
リ
I
プロ
heard
ダクショ
just
ン
the
の
other
問題
day
も
for
そ
the
うです
first
し、
time that
教育の問題も
that
そうです。
Kamala
バイデ
and
ン、
Biden are
バイデン
trying
敗
to
戦が徹
destroy
底的に
that.
壊しま
They're
したから、
trying
ア
to
メリカ
make
社
it
会
so
を。
that you have to wait for 6 months again, back to where it was. We had a 92% approval rating, and now if they go back to that, you were going to have. I did another thing you weren't able to get because of civil service. You weren't able to fire people if somebody was a degenerate, if somebody was terrible, if they treated our heroes badly.
ト
We want them
ラン
fired.
プ
We
と共和
want
党
them
が
fired
バイデン
immediately.
敗
But
戦
we
法
were
律一つ
unable to
は
get them fired because they were
誰も
protected
辞職
by
させないって
unions
言ってる
and
んですよ
by
ね。
civil service. And I had it passed in
官
Congress,
僚
which
を、
people have
官
also
僚
been
幹
trying
部
to
も、
get.
そ
And
の
we were
下
able
の
to
中
fire
間幹部とかもね、
9,000 people out of the
責
VA
任を
and
取
replace
ら
them
な
with
い。
people that love our heroes as opposed to sadists. We had sadists. We had sick people. We had sadists in there that really harmed our
FBI
great
も
people,
そう
our
そうで
great
しょ。
veterans.
アイ
And
スも
we
そう
were
です。
able to get
幹
rid
部
of
みん
them.
な
We
辞
got
め
them
ないとい
out,
けないですよ
and
ね。
we replaced them with people that can love
マヨ
our
カスがなんでま
love
だ
and
のう
take
のう
care
と
of
してるかっていうことでしょ。
these wonderful people that served
本当
us
に
so well. So we did good. We had a
国境問題が
92% approval rating. Nobody's ever. They've been in the 40s and the 30s, and now it's heading back in that direction. I'm afraid. I hear they want to dismantle everything.
デ
And
スマントエブ
it's
リシング
almost
です。
like
本
you'd
当
say,
に
why would they do
バイデン
that?
ハリス政
Why would
権
they do
の
that?
い
And yet they'll
いか
spend.
に解体して
You
ね、
know, you can't say
真
why
逆を
because
やるか
they give away hundreds of
広範囲
millions
な
of
広範囲
dollars
な
to anybody that needs it, but they won't take care of our
問
veterans. They
題に
won't
つい
take
て
care
ね。
of our people. They won't take
い
care
や
of our
本当大仕
soldiers.
事ですよ。
They won't take care of our elderly. They won't take care of anybody, but they give every time certain people come to town, they walk
では
away with
ね、
$100
も
million.
う私は1週間後に選挙ですけども、トランプ決まったと思ってますから、これから1月
So I
まで
just
の
want to
移行
tell
期
you,
間
this is
に
a campaign
どれだ
that's
けの
been
内閣を作るかですよ
long
ね。
and hard. I've been on the road or campaigning for 58 straight days. I haven't taken a day off.
なんて言いました？全然休んでないって言ってましたよ。50何日間。
And I won't be taking one off. We have 7 days to go. You can be sure I won't be.
この後もね、当
I
然
do
休まな
many,
い。
many things every year. And I just want to end by I've watched their commercials, and they're really fraudulent. They'll say, he doesn't want to frack. I've wanted to frack always. They'll say, everything exactly the opposite. Oh, I want to destroy Social Security. No, they're going to destroy. I'm the one that saved it. And for 4 years, we made it even better. I'm the one, and I didn't raise ages. I didn't do the things that they're going to do
共和
because
党っ
they're
て本
allowing
当真逆ばっか
millions
り
of these people
民
to
主党
go
が
into
メディア
Social
言ってますよ
Security,
ね。
Medicare. They're going to destroy it. She's going to destroy the whole country because it's not sustainable by any country. But the ads and the statements that they make are exactly the opposite. They will say
あ
things.
でもあんまりね、
I'm
皆
going
さ
to
ん
raise
心配しなくていいん
He's
ですよ。
going
な
to
ぜかっていう
raise
と、
taxes. Just the opposite.
2016
I'm
から
going
20トランプ
to lower
やって
taxes,
実績
and
あ
I
るで
have
しょ。
done that. But I'm going to lower
2016
taxes, and she's
トランプ
raising
政権でき
taxes
た
by
時何やったか
30,
っていう
40, and
と、
50%.
オバマの
But they'll
反
have
対
a
やったんですよ
commercial.
ね。
And I just
オバ
say
マが
this to
徹
you
底的
because
に
I
や
hope people
それ
understand.
を公約にしてましたから。
These people lie. They lie. They're
結構
very
簡単なんですよね。バイデンの
disingenuous.
反対やれ
And
ばいいだけなんです
we
よ。
are going to
でしかも実績があるんで、
finish
やり
up
方
our
も分かってるんで。
campaign. And
で
it's interesting
前回の
because
失
I
敗も
haven't
ね、苦い経験も
taken any time off
第
for
一
a
次政
long
権の
time. I
知っ
tell
て
you,
る
who
ん
can tell
で、
you about
ネ
that?
オコ
All
ン
the
もも
people
う
that
入れませ
follow
ん。
us, including the people
官
in the
僚たちも
campaign, but including
そう入れ
Secret
たいです。
Service
だ
who
から
has
バ
been working very, very hard.
トランプ
I
第
will
二
tell
政権
you. They're
2.0 が
really
ね、
working very
かなりバージョン上がってますよ。経験も積んで、失敗からも
And
学
yet, a
び、
couple of days
実
ago,
績
she
もやり
took
方も分
off,
かってるんで、
and then she took off again and again.
大きな
And
仕
I
事
said,
に
how
なる
many
と思い
times?
ますけど、
You know, you're running for president of the
やれる
United
と思いま
States.
すよ、
You had
私は。
like at that time about 20 days left. How the
何
hell
やっ
do
て
you
いいか
take
分か
off,
らない
right?
ってい
You
う
gotta
状況
work.
じゃないですかね。もう
You gotta
何やればいい
work.
かっていうのは
So
もう明確に見えてま
she
すから。
says her teleprompter broke. Yeah, well, she better hope it doesn't. You know, they break. And if you don't know how to do it without a teleprompter, you got a problem. And she doesn't know how to do it without a teleprompter. So I just wish they'd stop lying because the lies are vicious. And probably
ラ
some
リーが
people
ビシェス、本当そう
believe
ですよ
them.
ね。
But the good news
民主
is
党とメディアの嘘、
seven
フェイ
states,
ク、フェイクニュース。
Republicans never lead in the early voting because for whatever reason, it's habit or it's a certain security they feel in going to the booth. They believe, well, they believe in
ハビットか
principle.
セキュリティなのか、どういうわ
But
け
we
かわから
never
ないけ
lead
ど
in. I don't know if we've ever led
共和
in
党はいつ
early.
いつも期
Every
日前
single
でリー
state
ドしないでし
we're
ょ。
leading in.
だけど今、リーディングいいんです。
At an early, and we don't need all of them, but at an early, and some states are in play that nobody thought would ever be in play. But I think people are seeing because, again, we're the party of common sense. We're the party of common sense, and we want to have strong borders. We want to have great elections. We want to have fairness. We don't do things like we're not going to have men playing in women's sports. I mean, that's
当
okay.
たり前の話ですよね。
So we're the party of common sense and we're the party of fairness and we have a coalition. Nobody's ever seen
そ
anything
う、
like
パーティーオブコ
I
モン
don't
セン
think
ス、
anybody
パーティー
has
オブコ
ever
ーリショ
seen
ン、
anything like what happened
RFK
the other
Jr.
night at Madison Square Garden. The love
うわ
in that room. It was breathtaking, and you could have filled it many, many times with the people that were unable to get in. But politicians that have been doing this for a long time, 30 and 40 years, said there's never been an event so beautiful. It was like a love fest, an absolute love fest, and it was my honor to be involved. And hopefully, they started to say, well, in 1939, the Nazis used Madison Square Garden. Well, and you know what? But can you imagine it? 1939, the Nazis, they were. But how terrible to say, right? Because, they've used Madison Square Garden many times. Many people have used it, but nobody's ever had a crowd like that. And I tell you what, right now, nobody's ever had love like that. That was love in the room. And it was love for our country.
MSG ね、ナチの1939年って言ったヒラリーとメディアと民主党ね。これもう、ローエスですよ。ローエス you can go。もう最低なことですよね。でも、考えるとね、それしかもう、そういうことしか言えないんですよ。そこまで民主党はもう手の内なし、もう負けをね、座って見てるだけなんですよね。あ、終わりました。終わりました。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
ベニー・ジョンソンです。マイボール。
President Trump speaking while multiple massive news stories break. We are in that game time right now. We are in that zone.
私、ベニー・ジョンソン、いつもね、
Donald Trump
もう1時でしょ、12時ぐらいいつも見てるんですよ。ちょろっと
the
見て。で
declarative
もダラダラ
statement
してるんで、
that he is the
そのまま見ちゃうん
Robin
ですけど。
Hood of our era.
ロビン・フッドって言い
He
ま
is
した。
the Robin Hood
ロビン・
of
フッド。
2024 American politics. What do I mean by that?
American politics.
Donald Trump has said that he is going to steal from the cartels to give to the victims of their murderous criminality. This is the major takeaway from that powerful
ちょ
press
っと私、
conference.
そのカルテンのとこ
Donald
最初あ
Trump
んまり聞い
saying
てな
that
か
he
った。
will
なんて言ったんでしょうか。
take everything from the cartels, and these cartels are worth billions.
カルテンとの戦
He
いです
will
よね。
loot them. He will
MS-13
rob them.
聞いたことあります MS-13。
They will all go down in flames. That he will use the federal government to take that money that was probably paid to the cartels by the Biden-Harris regime, no doubt. The Biden-Harris regime pays cartels by having an open southern border. The Biden-Harris regime facilitates billions of dollars of
不
human
法移民
smuggling
の
and
問題、
trafficking.
ただ、働き手じゃなくて、
Donald Trump
ドラッグカルテルの後ろにいますからね。
said that he will
で、
take
フェンテノールとかい
the
ろんな
money
ド
from
ラ
the
ッグ
cartels and will give it
や
to the families and the victims
をアメリカ
that
国
have
内
been
に持ち込ん
terrorized,
で
murdered, killed, and worse.
売り上げ上げてるわけでしょ。
Ladies and gentlemen, a powerful moment in American
だから
history,
その側面も
something that will win,
あるんですよ
obviously,
ね。
with the American voter,
だからギャン
something that is going to
カルテルとの
be a
戦いと
spectacular thing to watch in nigh on 6 days when we march to victory. No cockiness,
ポスさん、
No touchdown dances.
自分は必ず犯罪にかかっている人は罰されるべきと思います。バイデン政
No
権で
looking
自問
back
題
at the
で
cameras
証拠隠滅してますが、絶
because we
対
think we've won the
いや
race.
こ
Now
の
it's
問題
time
を
to
ま
be
たね
5 points
語
down.
りたい。
And it's time
ど
to
う皆
fight
さんどう思うか
like。we are 5 points down.
私もね、バイデンは
This is
本
an
当
incredible
ね、
moment from
捕まえ
President
るべき
Trump.
だと思うんですよ。バイデン、他もろもろのやつ
press conference,
ら、
of course,
政権のやつら、もう
heart-wrenching
ほぼ全員って言ってもいいです
To see these various mothers
だけ
and
ど
victims of Kamala Harris's everything from her inflation and her collapsing
それやる
economy
と、
to the
そ
withdrawal
れ
of
こそバナナリ
Afghanistan
パブリックでしょ。トランプを、
migrant
相手が
crime
トランプを捕まえようとしたのと一
all
緒
sort of bundled
そ
together
の低次元になっちゃう
as
じゃないです
Kamala
か。
collapses.
トランプは常
Here, ladies
ね
and、gentlemen, is the takeaway most
政
viral
権取る
clip
こと
from that
が
press conference
リベンジだって言っ
that
てますか
lasted
ら、
nearly 1 hour.
多分やらないと思いますよ。
Donald Trump saying, I am team never quit.
ヒラ
I'm
リー
team
も
never
捕
sleep.
まえなかっ
I've
た
been
ですから。
campaigning for months straight, and we are going to win
そうやって
this
政権
thing.
取っ
We
て、
are
その
going
後
to
ね、手のひら
outwork
返し
them.
で、
And we
ま
have
あ
some、breaking
ハンター
news
ぐらい
that
は
proves it.
捕まえて
Here
もいいと
we
思
go,
いま
ladies
すけ
and
ど、
gentlemen.
も
Donald Trump declaring that he will be the Robin Hood of our era, stealing from the cartels and giving to the families that they have tortured and destroyed.
So today,
ちょっと聞きましょうか。
I'm
見
announcing
逃した
that
とこ
for
ろ
the
です。
first time under my administration, we will be seizing the assets of the criminal gangs and
Seizing
drug
assets.
cartels.
カルテルのね、
And we will use those
資
assets
産
to
を捕ま
create
え
a
る。いや、本当そうですよ、アメリカ。
compensation fund to
ロシアの
provide
資産を統計するんじゃなくて、カルテルの資産を
restitution for
統計
the
せよということで
victims
しょ。
of
ふざける
migrant
なと。
crime, and the government will help in the
ちなみに
restoration.
ね、
The
私
government
の
will
家
help
族、
in the
妻、
restitution.
資産凍結されてますから、
Absolutely
アメリ
spectacular.
カ、バイデンによって。
Now, while that, of course, is going to strike fear
万
and
円と。
horror into the hearts of all the gangsters and
まあまあ、
criminals
その話はいいとして。
who have been marauding through this nation, pillaging,
その
raping,
バ
and
スとか
murdering
ね。
at the
トランプ、この前、
expense of the American taxpayer and at the privilege, recommendation, and welcoming of the Biden-Harris regime. These people hate you. How many more times do you need to have that proven and demonstrated for you?
そうだと思います。
They do not like
まだこの話やりましょう。私ね、
And
結
they
構、この
want
話
bad things
は、
for you. The prerequisite
どっ
for
かで
leading
し
this
っくりす
nation
るべきだと思うんですよね。
should be that you love the people who live in it. They do not love this place, and they do
いろん
not
な
love
問
you.
題がね、ちょっ
President
と
Trump loves you, and he's here to protect you.
根幹の憲法の問題とか、いろんな問題に関わっているので、
America first means
だけど
moving from
感情
America
としては、
first.
バイデンクライムファミリ
Pretty
ーとバ
remarkable.
イデン
There's
クライム
actual
政権を、
consequences
ハリ
to
スね、
this.
み
Not
んな
putting
捕まえてほ
Americans
しいです
first,
よね。
and Americans are starting
ディディの件
to
も。
decide that maybe it's time that we elect a leader that
ちょっ
protects this nation. The collapse, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Now, we've been talking about the Kamala collapse for quite a while. We've been bringing on
Collapse.
pollsters
Kamala
to show
has
you
no
all the hard
collapse.
data. But let me tell you, there's nothing harder from a data perspective in politics than where you spend money. The old adage goes, show me somebody's credit card bill and I'll show you what they care about in life. If you were to look at my credit card bill, you'd obviously find that I care about this company, I care about supporting our staff, and I care about my children. That's where my heart is, in my family, and in speaking truth
まあ
and
でもあと
protecting
1
and
週間にな
defending
りま
them,
したよね。
you, your children, and this movement. If you look at Kamala Harris's checkbook, you'll find unlimited billions to Ukraine, to Israel, to criminal aliens that have come into this country. And now you'll find something else very, very special. That Kamala's given up. Oh yeah, baby. This broke while Donald Trump was live. Here we go. Kamala Harris has given up in North Carolina. This is an all-important swing state that requires, is a requirement for Kamala Harris's victory on Tuesday. And she has now
2ミリオン
millions of dollars of advertising
引
and
き上げたみたい
funding
です。
and staffing from that state, along with Nevada.
Carolina.
Little birdies are beginning to tell me we have employees in Nevada. We are very well sourced in Nevada. Some people who
ネバダも。
are working and
ノ
running
ースカロライナも取れるん
the
です
Nevada
か。
Republican Party and the
いい
turnout
です
efforts
ね。
there have been nonstop texting us about the numbers.
最
The
初始
early
まっ
vote
た頃は
numbers
ノースカロ
are
ライナ難しいかなと思
catastrophic
って
for Kamala Harris in
たん
Nevada.
ですけどね。
Republicans are up by 40,000 votes in Nevada. Kamala Harris has withdrawn money now, surrendering effectively North Carolina and Nevada, although this hasn't been printed yet.
So
watch for that news cycle.
彼の
Often ahead of the
情
news cycle on this
報
program.
源。
Why do you think they want to cancel us? Yeah.
ノースカロライナとネバダの広告
Kamala
を
Harris,
引き上げ
ladies
る
and
みたいです。
gentlemen, is beginning to narrow severely her potential chance to win this election by not only giving up in what is considered a swing state, as many people said, North Carolina is not a swing state, as Rich Bear said yesterday, but by moving those and allocating those resources to Virginia.
バージニア
This is how bad things have gotten.
バージニアの方がもっ
Kamala Harris is allegedly reallocating the resources to the state of Virginia,
バージニアの方が危ないっていうことなん
saying
です
that
か。
you may well see President Trump
もうノースカロライナ諦めてバージニアに注力す
run
る。
the table with the swing states, the seven
逆を
swing
返せ
states,
ば、バージニアもトラン
but
プ取れ
start
る可能性があるっ
picking
てことですよ
off
ね。
Democrat states that have been consistently voting
最高で
Democrat
すよね。
for decades. Virginia, New Mexico, Minnesota, North Carolina. Oh, yeah, baby. Check this out. Miami-Dade early voting. Republicans are making history. You remember Miami-Dade in Florida, here in this
いや
state.
ほんもうね、
This is, of course, the
Whatever
liberal
Oasis
county
さん、
around
ポスさん。
Miami and the
こ
greater
れね、
overall Miami
私も心
area.
情的には、
These are
やつらみん
these are
な
neighborhoods that
捕ま
are
えて
Haitian and
ジェイルに放り込んで
Cuban,
ほしいんですけど、
Honduran.
お
There's an entire like
どうで
little
しょうかね。
Argentina.
そんな
right,
ことやってる
that's
場合
there
じゃ
in
ないっていう
Miami.
のもありますよね。
Miami is very much,
か
by
彼、
definition,
仕
a
事
melting
忙
pot
しいでし
city.
ょ。そういうことにディストラク
Much
ショ
like
ン
New York,
さ
right?
れ
So
るべきじゃ
it's
ない
a
んですよね。
landing
もう、
spot
奴らは
for so many people
消え
who
去ってい
immigrate
き
to
ま
this
すから。
nation.
それよりも立
And
て
it's
直し
flip
てね、
thread.
いい4年間して、
Republicans
次
surge
バン
ahead
スか
in Miami-Dade early voting.
誰かにつないでね、もう8年、ト
The
ータル
only
12年
chance
やれば、
for Democrats
民主党もほぼ解体
is
され
not
ま
on
す。
election day, but it's in these early votes. These early votes are now turning catastrophic. Here's what the state of North Carolina looks like. Holy smokes, man. In the early vote. In the early vote.
ノースカロライナアリーボート
The
に、
chances
シャーロット。
the chances in North Carolina is
私一回、シャーロットに行ったことあるん
effectively
ですよ。
slipping away entirely.
実は
And
仕
expect
事
this now
で。
to be something that permeates like a cancer the entire
私
Harris campaign.
黒人の友達がいて、
Because as you begin
その
to see
人
the
のボーイフレンド
erosion,
がインド
as
人
you
だ
begin
ったん
to
ですけど、
notice the
プロ
erosion
グラ
in
ムを
one
作ったん
swing
ですよ。で、
state,
私の
you'll begin to
会社のホームペー
see
ジをね、
the
彼に作ってもらってたんで、
contagion to other swing states
シャーロットに行ったことあるんです
as the headlines begin to depress and demoralize.
いいとこ
Depressing
で
and
した。ノー
demoralizing
スカロ
Kamala
ライナ
Harris herself, by the way, who was asked just moments ago on CBS, the race is slipping away from you. Look at Kamala's response. It's perfect. The response of a loser. Watch.
It does suggest
これ
that
ね、私今日
your
紹介したでしょ。
momentum has slowed. Do you feel like the race is slipping away?
I do not. And actually, and I agree with you. I think certainly polling is a measure, but to be frank, if I'd listened to polls, I would have never run for my first or second office. I wouldn't be here talking with you. And what I'm seeing are in states such as South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, historic turnout. Historic turnout.
Historic turnout for Trump. You dingbat. For Trump. So the race is slipping away from you. So you're losing, says CBS. And Kamala goes, actually, there's historic turnout in North Carolina. Yeah, this is what the historic turnout looks like. Historic turnout for President Trump. And that we're seeing that actually all across. Who will win North Carolina? Prediction in the
そうですね。
70 to 30 in the betting markets. Oh, man. If only Kamala Harris could hit the road and convince people and drum up her base, because what this is going to do, again, is going to cause a cancerous contagion throughout her campaign as people, and they're already talking to the press, talk about having a losing campaign. It's hard to really describe like the palette of a losing campaign, but you know it when you see it. If you were close, like the Mitt Romney team, like they knew they were going to lose.
でもベニー・ジョンソンもす
Like
ごいですよ。
Jimmy Carter in
47
1980, like
万
you
人
knew they was
聞
going
い
to
てるん
lose
です
something
よ。
that permeates the campaign. It's an
CNN よ
attitude,
り
it's
すごいんじゃないか
a
と思うんで
macabre
すよ。
morass, like dark cloud that hangs over the campaign. This now is picking up great acceleration with Kamala Harris.
ノースカロライナはね、
That Kamala Harris is
ラーラ・トランプ、エリック
barking
の娘が
during her
ノースカロライナ
campaign
出身なんです
rallies
で、 彼女、党の
at her supporters
コーチェアマンかなんかでしょ。で、最
in
初から
nonsensical, in
結構
like
力入れてたんですよ、
in
ノースカロ
totally
ライナ。
nonsensical ways
戦術
that
的
don't
に。
make any sense.
ノー
This
ス
is
カロ
how
ライナ
shook
取ったらもう
this
ほぼ、
woman
もう
is.
これね、例えば1年ぐらい前の状
And then
況で、
immediately
ノースカロライナ
jumping
取
and
ったらもう
clinging
ほ
to a
ぼ取れるっていうこと
teleprompter
はもうほぼトラン
like
プ
it
勝
was
ちってい
a
うことですから。
door of the Titanic as you
ノ
let
ースカロ
Jack
ライナ
slip off
は
into the
取り
deep.
に行ってたんだと思うんですよ、
Here we go.
戦略的
Listen
に
to
も。で、今ね、それが実を結ぼうとしている状況だと思います。だからもう本当ね、トランプの戦略、勝ち戦略です。
So it's fake, right? So they've been so the
fake.
audience has been directed to shout the name Kamala in order to try and trick people that they support her. When in fact they probably just got a Chick-fil-A sandwich or a pack of cigarettes, got shoved onto a bus to like go here, got paid. We know there's no shortage of paid activists for Kamala
Paid
Harris.
activists.
And we know that based on cell phone tracking, many of these people go to the same rallies. So it's the same person at the same rally in multiple different states. It's an operation. This is why these rallies aren't open to the public. They're closed. It's an
携帯スマホ
operation
でトラッキン
to
グできるみ
create
たいですよ。
an
同じ人
artificial
が同
support
じ
for
ラ
Kamala
リーに
Harris.
ずっと言ってるか
And
ら、
then
これ、
they're told, like clapping seals, to start chanting Kamala's
同
name
じ人たち、そ
because
こ
they
の
think it'll look
人
good.
のラ
But
リ
it
ー
backfires.
が
Watch
参
this.
加した人じゃないわけなんですね。みんなペイドの人です。
Okay, now I want each of
動員
you
かけ
to
てってい
shout
う
your
ことだけ
own
です。
name. Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us. And listen, I have fought my whole career to put the people first.
どうしたベイ
What? We give plenty of speeches, okay? I like to be particularly high energy in my speeches. I like to interact with the crowd. I believe my thesis on this is that people are done with listening to people just talk at them. People like to interact. We love the chat. That's why the chat's on screen. The chat's rolling. We didn't do comments on screen during this Trump event because there were mothers and widows there and everything like that, and we wanted to like maybe take a second, right, and let them speak. But we're regularly putting the comments on screen. We love the chat. Big old out here to you, the chat. Okay, so when you're going to interact with the crowd, you better do something that doesn't like silence them and cause them to go awkwardly quiet like this. This looks bad. Unmute.
Shout your own name. Do that.
What? When everybody like is cheering for you and then they all just stop and go, what's wrong with you, lady?
Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
Kamala knows that she just bombed there, and watch her watch her manically like cling to and claw, like literally take her fingernails and claw into the teleprompter like she was inside of some type of asylum, right? And she has like a special bite stick or something that like keeps her from going into a seizure. She's literally manically clawing at the words inside of the teleprompter to save her. Watch this.
Listen, I have fought my whole career to put the people first.
You can literally see her eyes run to the look at that. That's the teleprompter eye line right there. She's not looking at the crowd. She's just jumping to the teleprompter. We do the whole show. We've been live for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I don't have a script. We don't have a script. We have some clips that we play. I don't have a script. We have some stories we want to talk about.
私も
But we just chat. We talk
動画
with
配
you. We
信
tell
し
you
て
what
る
we
でしょ
think.
スクリプトな
We
しで
tell
なん
you
で
what the
す
thoughts inside of our
よ。
brain.
だから、
Admittedly,
よくわかるんですね。スクリプトある人とない人。
admittedly, we have a room
話し
temperature
方
IQ.
で
But at least we like use it. And we're
実は
happy to
何
say
回
it.
か言うべきこと書いたことあ
We're
るん
happy
です
to
よ。
say, like we
そう
speak.
すると、やっぱ
And
読
we
んだ
tell you
口調
what we
ちゃん
think.
ときっちりまとめた
At the
話
very
でき
least,
る
you
ん
know
で
there's
す
no
け
lying
ど、
around here. Because we actually
ま
don't
とま
have
っ
a
てね、聞
script.
きやすい。
We actually,
だけ
and
ど
when we
ライブ
speak
感なくなっ
to
ちゃいま
large
すよね
events, like we just spoke at a
で、
massive
私これ
stadium
今
in
ライブ
Georgia.
放送やってますし、普段もね、
at
出た
Trump
とこ勝負なんですよ。その場でそこで
We also don't have a
大
script.
きく何話
We
そう
don't
か
read
なっていう
off
の
a
は考えて
script.
ますけど、
We like work with the crowd, work
そ
with the
の場で
audience
思い
because
つ
we
いた
actually
こ
do this
と
all
を
day.
会話のように話すじゃないですか。てるんですね、
And
私
we know
は。
how
それ
to
を心
interact
がけ
with
てるんですよ。それとあらかじめ書いてあるものを読む
We're
の
not
と、
bragging. It's like what you
全
should
然違うん
like
です
the
よね。
bare minimum for if you're going to do this profession, you should be able to like interact with human beings. and not be like this creep. Like an AI would run for president better. Like one of those Tesla robots. One of those Tesla robots like running on like ChatGPT would do a better job than Kamala Harris. It probably wouldn't do this. This is excruciating. You know what also excruciating? The new clip out of ABC News just announced that Donald Trump's going to win. ABC News just straight up said, you know what? Donald Trump has enough numbers in swing states. Now it's Donald Trump's race to lose. Don't get complacent. Go vote. I'm going to go vote after work today in the studio. Go vote. But listen to this at ABC News.
The 7 states that are almost certainly going to determine the presidency, things close as ever, and we're seeing a very slight Trump edge in several of the battleground states. Kamala Harris's numbers have gone down just a little bit.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This is super embarrassing. Oh, no. Oh, no, Danny. What? Look at this. Kamala rally. Look at the size of this teleprompter. Look at this. Look at the size of the prompter at this Kamala rally. Thank you, Alex Stein, for capturing this. Look at that thing. That is like the door of the Titanic. This is like the door that Rose floated on when the Titanic sank. Look at the size of that thing. Look at that. And they have to, this was for Beyonce's mom. Beyonce's mom needed help introducing her daughters. This is the quality of the speakers at these events. And she doesn't know how to say Kamala. Kamala Harris. Look at that. Oh, how excruciating.
もう終わってますね、カマラ・ハリスのラリー。
How humiliating, in fact.
Humiliating ですね。
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. ABC News is saying Kamala Harris is losing. Multiple people from the Trump campaign are saying Kamala Harris is losing. Here's Bruzewitz, Rick Grenell, multiple other people now like coming over the top and saying
トランプの勝ちは
Kamala's
もう
pulling out
ほぼ確定なんですけど、
Okay.
どれだけ負けるかですよね。そこに焦点ですよね。どんだけ
Kamala has
勝てる
given
か
up。on North Carolina. Soon to be Nevada. Mark my words. Put a pin in it. Soon to be Nevada.
ネバダもギブアップするそうです。ノースカロライナ。
What a fascinating and wonderful and exciting time to be alive. President Trump's brand new Latino ad. ALX just confirming we're good to play this. The brand new Latino ad for Donald Trump. Before we toss it up, though, I want to just make sure that we're sound on this. But why not, right? Okay, because I love this. I love the Trump's old school Latino ad. We often dance to it, but this is the new banger, ladies and gentlemen, for your consideration.
私ね、半年前からもう1年前から310はいくって312って数字出してたんですよ、ずっと私の予想はね。多分それ超えるでしょう。今だから私の予想よりもよく勝ちそうな感じですよね。だから330とかいくんじゃないですか、冗談抜きで。歴史的対象になると思いますよ。まあ290とかはないと思います。もう300は間違いなく超えると思います。だから私的には312より上だったらもう予想以上の大勝利。私の個人の予想ですよ。312だったらまあ私の予想通りだろっていう感じです。ちょっと300以下だったら意外に民主党しぶといなと思います。今音楽なんで笑えばオアシスさんなんかいつも笑ってるんですよね、この人。本当アメリカ人なのかインド人とのハーフみたいだけどいつもはバカ笑いですよね。本当中身がない女です。お母さんがねインド人、お父さんはジャマイカ系。だけど私もね過去にいろいろ動画出してるんですけど、カマライスの出自のいろいろ怪しいんですよね。いろいろ怪しいんですよ、お父さんも。 すでに社会主義のカントリーのアメリカ、その場その場の発信で良いかと思います。カマラはや、いや、バイデン敗戦は完全に
I'm going to attach a massive speaker to the top of my car and just drive around my neighborhood. I live in a Cuban neighborhood and we're in Tampa. There's a lot of Cubans in Tampa. I'm just going to put that. I'm just going to play that. I'm going to be one of those guys. I'm sorry for the next 7 days. I'm going to attach a comically large speaker to the top of my car and I'm just going to play that nonstop throughout the night. When I park my car, I'm just going to blare it. And I'm just going to drive around. I'm going to pay like 50 Uber drivers to just attach speakers to their car and go drive through the Hispanic neighborhoods of Tampa and play that song. This is my contribution to our movement, okay? This is what I'm going to do. All right, arrest me. And if I was arrested, I know who would save me. Here we go. Robin Hood Trump. Look at this. We were talking about Donald Trump being the Robin Hood. Steal from the evil.
私の話ですよ。バイデン政権の私の評価というかね、見立ては、さっき言ったように共産主義者たち、社会主義者たちと、手を組んでディールしてね、あなたたちが言うラディカルな LGBTQ も含めてね、ラディカルな政策を推進してあげますよ。その代わり、戦争にはフリーハンドで協力しなさいというのがヒラリーとか違う方のね、民主党のネオコンたち。がやっぱ取引してるんですね。それで成立した政権ですよね。バイデンとは戦争をやらせてくれる。だから AOC にしろサンダースにしろね、戦争反対に本当は一番強く言わないといけないやつらでしょ。チャンピオンピースって言ったじゃないですか。平和のチャンピオンだって言ってた連中が受け入れてるんですよ、戦争。白紙小切って出してるわけでしょ。それは LGBTQ やってくれる限りにおいてはね、その他社会主義的政策をやってくれる限り戦争はやらせてあげます。ヒラリー、他ネオコン民主党にとってはね、そこで金儲け、ビッグファーマー。ビッグファーマー、大きなビッグテックとかは、LGBTQ やっていいですよと、その代わりこっちの利益は守ってください。だからこのね、2つのバランスの上に乗った政権なんですよね。バイデン敗戦か。だから悪魔が一緒になった2つの勢力だと思ってるんですよ。私の民主党の見方はね。カマラ・ハリスね、一応陽気だというふうに絵を売ってるでしょ。売ってるで自分もジョイフルウォリアーとかジョイとかって笑ったり。だけどね、時々ネバーアゲン、ネバーアゲンって最近起こったカマラ・ハリスバージョンあるでしょ。と、表情とかね、時々起こったこと出るんですけど、私こっちが本物じゃないかなと思ってるんですよ、実は。テレビでバカ笑いはそれを隠すために、各バカ笑いをやってる。だって彼女のオフィス、もう 90% 辞めてるんですよ。みんな叱責されるらしいんですよ。だからものすごいパワハラボスなんですよね、カマラ・ハリス。だから、陽気でジョイフルだっていうのは嘘なんですよね。本当の裏の本物のカマラはネバーアゲン、ネバーアゲンのあの顔なんですよ。これ私の見立て。そう見るとね、笑いにしろ中身のないことがスッと落ちてきますよね。なんであんなこのタイミングでバカ笑いするの？自分を隠すためですよね。自分の本性を隠すためにバカ笑いしてる。中身がない。
Hey, if we were going to try and report news to the country, we should potentially expect that half the country is going to want to have their voice heard, which is all that we've ever asked for. We've never asked for any leftist to be censored. In fact, the more the left speaks, the more they make our point for us. They are the ones coming with massive cudgels of disinformation and fraudulence from totally and completely discredited outlets to take our programs down.
これ
Now,
ジェ
I
フ・ベ
will
イゾスの
tacitly
話ですか
say that I'm, of course, not
ワ
a
シン
fan of Jeff
ワ
Bezos.
ワーポー、
I'm
ワ
not
シン
trying
ト
to
ン・ポスト。
I want to see action put into place, but like these are real actions that he's taking at this paper. You will not endorse Kamala Harris. You will hire more conservatives. You will have people that you intellectually disagree with at our site to appeal, that is supposed to appeal to the American people, and we're about to lose in a landslide. So clearly we're on the wrong side of what the American populace believes. And as they atomize the hard truths, Americans don't trust the news. As they atomize their following and their audiences, the real following comes to us. Our shows and our channels are growing exponentially.
そうですよね。本当。
Historic
はい、ちょっと
low trust in corporate media right now.
もうコーポレートメディアからね、
This
こういう
business
インディペンデント
is
の
going to be a fossil. It's suicidal. They're going to go out of business because they have no more readership, because they have lost that trust. And Jeff Bezos putting pen to paper and saying, maybe there's something we can do about that. This is really interesting. Listen to this. Let me give an analogy. This is from Jeff Bezos. Voting machines must meet two requirements. They must count the vote accurately, and people must believe that they count the vote accurately. The second requirement is distinct from and just as important as the first. What an amazing thing to say. And using voting machines of all things to make this analogy. Likewise with newspapers, we must be accurate. We must be believed to be accurate. This is a bitter pill to swallow.
よくそんなしやすいこと言う
But
な
we
と
are
思います
failing
けど
on
ね。
the second
ジェ
requirement.
フ・ベイゾス。
Most people believe the media is biased. Anybody who doesn't see this isn't paying scant attention to reality, and those who fight with reality lose. Reality is an undefeated champion. It would be easy to blame others for our long and continued fall in credibility, and therefore decline in impact. But victim mentality will not help. Complaining is not a strategy. We must work harder to control what we can control and increase our credibility. You can see why this guy built some of the most successful and valuable companies on earth. And while he's no Elon Musk, this is a step in the right direction. Jeff Bezos' last post on X, speaking of Elon Musk, was praising Donald Trump for his bravery during the assassination attempt. Is this the redemption arc for Jeff Bezos?
ですこっち反省してこっちに来るのかどうか知りませんけど。
This is an amazing moment in time. Why not? Since it was just posted.
だけど本当に今回カマラハリスが負けると大敗しかも大敗するということはメインストリートメディアがレガシーメディアニューヨークタイムズもワシントンポストもね
I just voted, but don't worry about who I voted for. So many
そうい
people
う
are
高
eagerly
級
waiting
視と
in
され
line.
てたところ
So many people who eagerly engaged with my Trump
が
rants over the years
全部
haven't said a
国民
word
からの信頼を失った
about
という
the
こと
massacre in
です。
Israel.
これだけ変
Free
更
them,
報道をやって
don't worry about who I voted for.
そ
Bring
の
them home. Okay.
にもかかわら
Michael
ず
Rappaport still hates Donald
大
Trump.
敗するということは彼らが本
He
当
didn't say he voted for Trump.
死ぬということですよね。メディアとしてのもう役割を
But
終
he
えたという
did
ことです
say,
よ
don't
ね。
worry about who I voted for.
でこう
So
いう
you'd
新し
assume
い
that
ね
he'd be
ベニー・
dancing
ジョ
in
ン
the
ソン
street
と
voting for
か
Kamala Harris.
ジョー・ローガンと
These
か
are
ね
like the most Trump deranged people
あ
on the
と
planet.
OL とか
It's implied
OL 私
that it's
と
implied
かが
here that he didn't
主
vote
役
for
に
Kamala
なる
Harris.
時代だと思いますよ、
And that he did
今後。日本のね、
vote
日本のテレビ局は、
for
アメリカ
President
の
Trump.
CNN の
And
孫
by
受
the
け
way,
下請け
he's
です
on
か
the
ら。
record saying
ア
that
メリカの
he's
孫受けで
considering
しょ。
voting for Donald Trump. I think
そん
there's a
な
clip of that.
やつらより、
So
私
Jeff
の
Bezos, back to the Bezos.
トー
case.
クの
Jeff
方が
Bezos is
真実をついてますから。
writing saying that the media have lost all credibility. Some of the biggest Trump derangement freaks that exist today are now openly considering voting for Trump and maybe just posted that they did vote for Trump, implying that they voted for Trump.
エンドしろよ、トランプ。
Kamala Harris is pulling money from swing states, admitting defeat.
ワシントンポストのオーナー、ジェフ・ベイソスがこういう寄
It's hard
稿をして、カマラ・ハリスがね、
Really encapsulate this
も
moment.
う広告の
But I'm gonna-
資金を
I can do
ノー
it
ス
very
カロライ
quickly.
ナ
It's
と
spiritual. I think it's spiritual.
ネバ
I
ダ
think
から
people
引き上げ
watched Donald
て
Trump survive an assassin's bullet.
バージニア
And
に
as
注
Tony
力する
Hinchcliffe
と。
said the other night in Madison Square Garden,
これが
God
最後の
voted
局
3 months
面で
ago.
す。
We vote in 7 days.
あと1
Or
週
you can
間。
vote today if you're in an early voting state, and I deeply encourage you to do that. If we all do that, we can defeat possibly the
は
greatest
い、
evil
我々は
to
ワシ
threaten
さんありがとうございました。
America
私もそろそろもう2時です
in
よ。
our
12時半
modern
にね、
history.
寝ようと思って。
which is the
ただトランプが
disintegrationist
緊
evil
急記
of
者会見
pitting
やってたん
race
で、
against
私も
race,
緊急に
religion
始めま
against
したが、
religion, American against American, to try to create a new civil war and to try to rip this country asunder from within because we are too strong to rip asunder from without. No country would be able to defeat us militarily, but you can defeat us culturally by poisoning our people, by poisoning us against each other, against the foundations of this very nation, against the foundations of God.
格調高いこと言いませんけど、格調高いって私のようにあまり格調、だけどね、彼女ライブでやってるんですよ、毎日ほぼ。
And we can cast back into the darkness
で、
that demonic ideology.
その時々のニュースをやるんで、例えばね、1日1回なんかスクリプト書いて読むとテレプロンプターの前で読むっていうスタイルじゃないんですよね。
Ladies and gentlemen, God's had our back. And now,
大したもんですよ。これ毎日毎日やってると、もうすぐ鍛えられてきますから、大手メディアのアンカーたちって全部読んでますから。
And our verse of the day will carry me there from Proverbs 3:25. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or the destruction of wicked people when it comes. The Lord will be your confidence. He will keep your foot from getting caught. Ooh, yeah, baby. Careful where you step. They try to catch Donald Trump stepping, man. And look what man intended for evil, God intended for good. The Lord is our confidence. We walk confidently forward. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Become a member. Join the Benny Brigade. Support the work that we're doing here. We ain't done yet, man. We're going to rock and roll this week. We're not going to. We are not sitting back this week, baby.
そう、私もね、通訳、さすが同時通訳する能力はないんですけど、
I have something very special for you. I have Steve Bannon's welcome back.
スティーブ・バノン来るんですか。
Something that is the most important broadcast in the world today. Steve Bannon returning from federal prison. We wanted to play it for you in its totality. So here, ladies and gentlemen, it is the great Steve Bannon back, and we'll endeavor to have him on our
私ね、も
program
うスティーブ・バノ
live
ン
for you this week.
は、まあ、ストーリーだと思うん
This
で
is
すけ
what
ど、
it
ビ
looks
ッ
like
グ
to。fight the
もう
machine.
過去、忘れたいですよね。というかもう、
Onward.
あまりこいつはなんか過去の人っていう感じじゃないですか。もうトランプ政権今もう新しいメンツですから。もう出てきた、出た。なんか出てきたんですよね、どっかから。拘束されてたんですかね。前も出たら入ったりしてるんですかね。よく詳しい私、もう彼のことを追っかけてないからわかんないですけど。
The production team and our co-host and of course the War Room Posse, all the great efforts you made so that it was next man up. And it's now my turn, right? It's my turn to be next man up as you guys have done such a magnificent job over the last 4 months. Understand something, and this has to be very clear. The Democrats and those radicals you just saw on MSNBC and CNN and Joe Scarborough and that entire crowd, right? They had Robert Kagan's wife who brought this entire debacle on Ukraine on us. They have no intention of giving up power. We have a 3-phase, and this is why it's so important for this audience. You're the backbone of this movement. We have 2 things we're going to talk about today. The get out the vote effort.
あれですよね。
Our first phase, which is November 5th.
私も YouTube でも彼やってるんですかね。ライブ、録音がやってるんですかね。YouTube だったら AI が翻訳が出てくるんで、ちょっとはね、いいかなと思うんですけど。
Inauguration day, but January 6th being a key part of that. We'll talk about in a second. The other is the delegitimization process. I have never heard, and I think most people would agree, the rhetoric that's come out about American citizens calling this audience not just Donald Trump and not the people around Donald Trump. That's bad enough.
ちょっと違うページ。ちょっとそろそろ私も寝ようかと思うんですが、ちょっともうせっかくたくさんの方がまだこんな時間に来てらっしゃるんで、ベニーのから離れて、ちょっと直近の何か面白いネタがあるか探ってみましょうか。これ何ですか？これ私が今日、先ほどやったやつですね。イーロン・マスク。 これちょっと14分長い。
treatment of American taxpayers.
What they call is sensitive that have
ちょっとこれ、あとしじっくり読みましょうか。14分なんで。
do it again.
Biden.
The United
ガバメン
States
ト
government
コラプション。
and
ドッジ。
When you
イーロン・マスク、本当やるんでしょうね。で彼が行革と言いますかね。いろんな無駄を省く重要なセクションで。トランプ、何言ってトランプ。トランプの後だと思うんですけど、さっき、ベニーが流したやつですよね。ラティーノ系、プエルトリカ、今話題になったでしょ、プエルトリカが MSD で、はじめ、まあ、ラティーノのね、票が、ここ最後。これ、緊急
3
のやつ
months,
です。
her lies and her slanders are very shameful and really inexcusable. And I can say that if I were president and somebody was being threatened, openly threatened like they've threatened me, I would say, if you do that, even if this was an opponent who I disliked, if you do that, we will obliterate your entire country and it would all stop. But they wouldn't make that statement. They won't.
もしバイデンでもね、政敵でももし暗殺
After
する
two
企てるなら、
assassination
お
attempts
前
in
の
just
国を。
over
まあ、だから
3
イラン
months,
とか
her
のね、
lies
対す
and
るメッ
her
セージなんでしょうけど
slanders
ね。
are very shameful and really inexcusable. And I
お、ジェフ・ベイゾスとトランプ、笑ってますよ。あ、そうですか。カマラ・ハリスから。ちょっと。だけど、いやらしくありません？今のタイミングで、なんかね、トランプになる。1年前にこれやってたら私評価しますよ、1年前に。だって1年前もメディアは、人々の信頼を失って、その既存メディアですよ、レガシーメディアを失ってたわけですから。今このタイミングでやってもこの政治的な動きでしょ。なんかいやらしいですよね、このハゲ。私あんまり好きじゃないんですよ、こいつ。アマゾンはいい会社だと思いますけど、ジェフ・ベイゾスはね、もう、イーロン・マスクと比べてください。イーロン・マスクは、やっぱり純粋ですよね。こいつはもう金儲け一番に来てますよね。金儲けビジネス。イーロン・マスクは言論の自由を守ろうということで、金儲けでなく、旧ツイッターをね、買収したわけでしょ。で、あの段階で、共和党にね、支持するというのは、現政権からのいろんな、だって規制される産業なんですから、彼、スペース X も NASA との付き合いがありますしね、テスラも電気自動車もアメリカの保護されている業界でしょ。その政府とバイデンと敵対する立場に、これビジネスの判断でやってるわけじゃないじゃないですか。もっとそれより崇高な大きい、自分の金儲けよりももっと大切なアメリカという国そのものとかね、言論の自由、憲法とかの問題のために立ち上がっているわけですよね。それと比べるとこのハゲは、今のタイミングでなんか私あんまり気持ちよくないですよね。こういうやつは。それは、Facebook のザッカーバーグもそうです。一緒です。イーロン・マスク。しかし、イーロン・マスクずっと最近、選挙活動にものすごい力入れてますよ
Sunday
ね。
night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that was going to be the last
お
time
母
I
さ
saw
ん、
her.
似てますよね。
We're best friends.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants.
私10歳の娘の
And I know
父親なん
in
です
my
よ。
heart,
こんなことはなんか
she
受け入れら
fought
れないですよ。
incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
急性脳梗塞で
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter, she failed Jocelyn.
本当に。それが娘とか息子とかだったら、自分の子供とかだったらもう
President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
倒れてたんですよ。自宅実家で。で、私が子供の今誕生日パーティーで行った日に発見したんですね。20時間ぐらい経ってたんですよ。だからほぼ毎日のようにあったんですけど、その前日倒れた日は会ってなかったんですよ。電話もしなかったんです。もうほぼ毎日電話して毎日会ってるのに、その日だけ、たまたま電話もしなかったんですよね。で、その日、自宅で倒れて。まあ、別に自分の話はどうこうでなくて、要は、最愛肉親が急に亡くなるっていうのは、私の父は、癌で、亡くなったんですけど、もう手術したり入退院繰り返してたんで、もう1年半ぐらいね、心の準備できてるじゃないですか。じゃなくて、ある日突然急にね、っていうのは、今でもきついんですよ、毎日。こうやってやってますけど、だから私、4日からね、2週間ぐらい放送してなかったんですよ。それまで毎日1ヶ月やってたんですけど、4日から、ちょっとね、2週間休まさせてもらって、それからつい最近再開したんですけど、だからそういう、ああいう犠牲者の気持ちわかりますよね。急にっていうのは辛いですわ。今までの日常がある日から急に変わると、やっぱり時間かかると思いますよね。それが自分の子供ということだったらね、もうありえないですよね。バノンが出てきました。あまり、どうしましょう。バノンの話題しましょうか。私あんまり好きなやつじゃないんですよ。だからちょっと割愛しようかなと思います。まあ、立派な人だと思いますよ。そんなに。むちゃくちゃ嫌いなわけじゃないです。むちゃくちゃ嫌いなわけじゃないですけど、もう、なんか過去の人という感じでね、次行きたいんですよね。もうなんか過去の亡霊みたいな感じで、もう出てくるなっていう感じぐらいですけど、ちょっとそういうと悪いですけど、彼に。カマラのラリー、これどこのですか？ アメリカはフラッグ一つもないって言ってます。何のか。まずなんかどっかのショーですね。
Stay up super late
トラン
because
プも同じのこれやってま
her
す。
coming to
こ
work
れ
with me in the morning.
これリアルドナルド・トランプとさっきイーロン・マスクでしょ。だから最終局面で、やっぱね、MSG 見ててもそうですけど、彼自身言ってたでしょ。トランプ自身が言ってました。これが一番の問題だって。イミグレーションの問題がね。インフレよりこれを上位に、つけてました。だからこれがやっぱりね、不法移民の問題は訴えやすいんですよね、普通の人にも。なんかインフレとか経済とかっていうとね、ちょっと難しく聞こえるのかもしれませんけど、犯罪の問題、不法移民っていうのは、一般の人、普通の人によく訴えるんでしょう。最後これをね、一番に持ってきてますから。で、ラティーノ。不法移民の構図としてですよ。不法移民を追い返せと、対策するということで、今すでにいる、ラテン系からのね、ラテンアメリカからの移民、の人たちからもまた票を取ろうとしてるけど、これロジックとしては難しそうじゃないですか。民主党は人種差別だということでね、ラティーノとか少数民族移民に対する差別だという絵を売るわけでしょ。トランプ、いや、そうじゃないと。彼らの職を既存のリーガルに入ってきた人たちの中南米の移民たちの人は、新しい移民が来ることによって職が奪われる、治安が悪くなる。で、こう分断させようとしているわけですよね、トランプは。で、彼らの票も欲しいと。で、そこそこ成功してるでしょ。だから、結構、構図としては結構ややこしいというかね。だってラティノ票かなり取ってますから、今回トランプ。いろんな州でね。50% 超えてるという、ラティノの支持率という統計も出たりしてるんで。ありがとうございます。また、スパチャありがとうございます。遅くまでお疲れ様です。カマラ・ハリスは、ほんまに世間知らずですね。半導体、そうです。手で触ろうとしたり、こんな同情やつ。あれ、私も今日ね、やりましたけど、もう何も分かってないんですよね。工場訪問もしたことない。経済のこととか考えたことないんですよ。だからね、民主党ってそこなんですよね。私一番っていうのは、経済が分かるやつ、誰一人いないんですよ。誰います経済分かるやつ。民主党の政治家、エリザベス・ウォーレンダメでしょ。サンダースもダメ、AOC も、誰も経済分かるやついないじゃないですか。ね。だから、今回もカマラ・ハリスの経済対策で出てきたのがね、プライスガウシンとか、アホみたいな話でしょ。新規住宅購入者に$25,000渡すとか、もう高校生の作文のような、誰一人多分経済学者、もうブレーンに誰もいないんだよ。ビジネスマンもいないんですよね。みんな職業、政治家、権利ばっかり主張してきたやつ。マイノリティの権利だということだけ主張してきて、政治家としてきたやつですから、もう経済は全く分かってないですよね。一方、トランプ自身がビジネスマンです。JD バンスもビジネスマンですよ。ベンチャーキャピタルやってました。ビベックもビジネスマンですよ。ね。タイシゲバードはビジネスマンじゃないですけど、周りには職業政治家じゃない人ばっかりです。次は、今日もHCJ クアさん、ありがとうございます。ちょっと明日のネタ何か 探しておきましょうか。私だいたいね、これ今パソコン見てますけど、スマホで、私のタイムラインこうバーっと見て、私こいつあんま好きじゃないんですよ。アラン・ダーシュウィッツ。弁護士なんですけどね。保守系の。これ反パレスチナのユダヤ人。私、新パレスチナですから、こいつの敵なんですよ。ちょっと変わりました。こうやってネタを見て、面白いネタを自分のところにリポストして、それをやるっていうスタイルなんですよ。なんか面白そうなネタが。これね、私もこの前から誰か指摘してて、最近そう見えるようになってきたんですよ。カマラハリスこのブラウンのスーツというか、ジャケット、パンツ着てるでしょ、最近。これをどうしても連想させますよね。誰がこれを勧めたんでしょうかね。よくわかりませんけど。バノン出てきました。これは誰ですか？共和党、フロリダの民主党のということで、ちょっと、みんな細かいとこ見てますね。カマラの、今日、そう、この人となんか、ポッドキャストやってますよね。こっち、どっちが数、ディスライクの方が倍以上、7万ディスライクとか、かわいそうですよね。アンナ・パウリーナ・ルナ。私の好きな下院議員です。セクシーな。弁舌めちゃくちゃ切れます。ちょっと聞いてみましょうか。
What they're doing is they're these mailers, not just here in Florida, but also Michigan, Pennsylvania, on Republican incumbents and also Republican candidates in office in an effort to suppress the Republican electorate that has not voted yet. Remember, it's important that you vote early and that you vote in person because it allows the GOP to micro-target the rest of the Republican voters that have not shown up and also to ballot chase. But the reason why they're trying to do this is because they know that President Trump is going to win. Okay, he's surging in the polling, and with your help and your early vote, he is going to be the next president. We are now 7 days out, but they are trying to do this because they understand the fight is going to be control of the House of Representatives and also Senate. So they are lying. See this, identify it, throw them out, and tell your friends it's voter suppression. We just uncovered a massive...
トップオブチケット。皆さん、その投票用紙とか見たことあります？アメリカの実際。なんかいろいろ州によって違いますけど、一番上のチケットはトランプ・バンスでしょ。で、その後に上院議員、下院議員とか全部やるんですよね。今回、大統領だけじゃないんですよね。下院全部改選されます。上院は半分、30ぐらいですかね。改選されます。議会の勢力がどうなるかっていうの。だから両方とも、今タイブレーカーとかギリギリとかでしょ。カマラハリスがタイブレークの票を持ってるぐらいですから、これが両方全部上から下まで上院、下院、大統領と圧倒的に取らないと、取れば、政権運営やりやすいですよね。そこも注目ですよね。今後、ねじれが起きたりしたらね、ちょっとごたごたするかもしれませんから。この前見ました、私も。アンバーデンバイはハズピー。これ、ハリスの決め台詞が、トランプが、ね。unburdened by what has been まさにその通りです。重荷だったのはカマラ・ハリス、バイデン政権が重荷だったんですかね。その重荷を取り除くということです。66%、34%。 これはオッズだと思うんですけど、プロバビリティとかだと思うんですけどね。基本的にね、30以下にはならないですから。数字、どんなに悪くても30より下にはならないんですよ。統計的に。なるかもしれませんけどね。でも、どんなに、バイデンの討論会でも、あれ 30% とかぐらいはギリギリあったんですよ。確か。28まで行ったかもしれませんけど。バイデンの討論会でバイデンが勝ったっていうやつは 30% いるんですよ。どんなに明らかな間違いでも絶対支持率は 30% あるんですよね。34っていうのはもうほぼね、ボトム、これ以上下がらないぐらいのとこ。まあこれはプロバビリティ、オッズだと思いますけど、これ以下には多分ならないんですよね。まあほぼ全部取っているでしょ、バトルグラウンド。あとこれにミシガンとバージニアが加わったら、いいということですよね。ちょっと見てみましょうか。ペンシルバニアとバージニアも取るんじゃないかと。ノースカロライナも赤になってますね。はい、ネバダも。もうバトルグラウンド全部取ります。ミシガンがね、どっち結構面白い。これ注目ですよ。ミシガンもしトランプ取ったらもう全勝です。この中で。ミシガン取って、ペンシルバニアに落とすとかっていうシナリオはないと思います。同様に、ミシガン取ってジョージア落とすとかもないと思うんで、ここら辺がね、キーですよね。バージニア、これでどのくらいいくんですか？これでね、ちょっとミシガンどっちにも票入ってないですけど、これで312ぐらいじゃないですか、多分。私の見立てはこれぐらいだったんですよ。一つ落とすと。こういう見立てだったんですよね。330ぐらいあるかもしれません。このジョークな。はい、ちょっともうまったりこんな時間。私、これ紹介しませんでしたけど、タルシギャバードの演説良かったですよ、また。毎回ずっとタルシギャバードの聞いてたんで。
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
落ちないさん、ずっと続けて聞いてるんで、MSG の流さなかったですけど、後で聞き直すとね、やっぱいいです。タルシー・ギャバードの格調の高い演説を聞きながら寝るっていうのが私のね、結構、時々寝れない時にね、誰かのスピーチ聞いて寝ようとしてるんですよ。こう、脳に気持ちいいでしょ。で、RFK ジュニア好きなんですけど、彼ダミ声なんで、みたいでしょ。病気なんですよね。遺伝的な病気なんで、ちょっとそこをね、それを揶揄することはできませんけど、ちょっと声が良くないんで、ダミ声なんでね、聞きにくいっていうので、中身はいいんですけどね。演説の中身はもう本当にいいんですけど、ビベックとかちょっと早口すぎるんですよね。JD バンスも。ちょうどね、彼女のが私の脳に心地よく響くんで、
And that we are endowed by our Creator with certain
彼女の演説聞きながらよく寝たりしてました、以前ね。はい、ちょっともう、くだらない話というか、とんでもない話だったけど、そろそろやめます。はい、遅くまでお付き合いいただきありがとうございます。それから、スパチャありがとうございました。カマラ・ハリスとヒトラー、なんですよね。HCJ クワさん。ありがとうございました。今日もいただきました。はい。本当ハリスとヒトラーがね、どうしてあの風にしたのかを、ちょっと、バノンが出てきてうるさくなりそうですね。あと、静かにしとけよという感じなんですけどね、あと5日。このまま何事も起こらなければ。いや、緊急会見っていうか私ね、何事かと思ったんですよ。なんか、ちょっ ちょっと騙されたって言ったらあれですけど、トランプの緊急会見、ついつい2時間やってしまいました。はい、ありがとうございます。